Just a real quick reminder, please hit like and please hit subscribe and stay tuned to see how you can win this beautiful Randy Johnson baseball card that's autographed and has a couple of game-used memorabilia patches. Mariners win 2-1. They improved to 31-26, and they've taken 3 of the first 4 against the Houston Astros in this series. Let us look at these scoring plays. There are not many of them, and they're a little bit few and far between. Jake Myers singles home Yordan Alvarez in the 4th. I want to talk about that play. That gives Houston a 1-0 lead. Next inning, Seattle ties it up. Dominic Canzone homers to right center off Justin Verlander. The only run the Mariners get off Justin Verlander ties the game at 1-1. No runs between the 5th and the 10th, but in the bottom of the 10th, J.P. Crawford, that beautiful man with the beautiful last name, hits a sacrifice fly to score Jonathan Clase. Mariners win. Beautiful. Pretty ugly at times too, but beautiful. And the negative is this offense was pretty awful. 15 strikeouts. Justin Verlander pitched okay, but there were some pitches down the middle of the plate that the Mariners just flat out missed. And good for Crawford for getting that big sac fly, but he was terrible before that at bat. Can't deny that. Dylan Moore. That was rough. That's the concern, right? That's the, when does this turn back into the pumpkin? And he kind of looked like a pumpkin swinging the bat tonight. Just no fun. We all love Dylan Moore, but let's be honest, that was a very poor game from him. Josh Rojas struggled. Chaniger did get a single on one of those cement mixers, but not his best game at all. Mitch Garver, who, by the way, Mitch Garver was the starting catcher tonight. Can't say I was predicting that. He looked fine behind the plate. He did not look fine at the plate. Just, it continues to be a little rough watching Mitch Garver hit right now. And Luke Raley was bad outside of one at bat, and we'll talk about it. Yeah, this offense wasn't very good. And this offense really hasn't been good in these 3 games. They've had a couple of decent innings, but on the whole, you see how much better this pitching is than this offense. Quite a bit better. The only negative I'm going to talk about with the pitching is, and it's, somebody might call this nitpicking. I don't think it is. I'm really perturbed by how little attention the Mariners pitchers pay to runners. And Kirby is as guilty of this as anybody. But the reason that run scores is because Yordan Alvarez steals a base where no one is even looking at him. They're not paying attention to him whatsoever. And I get that Yordan Alvarez is not exactly fleet of foot, so you're not holding him maybe as tightly as you would a Jose Altuve or a Jake Myers or a Chas McCormick. But man, oh man, the lack of attention, and that's the only reason that run scores, is because they just flat out don't pay attention. And this was an issue last year until the second half of the season, when all of a sudden they were doing a much better job holding runners. And Big Dumper went from having one of the worst thrown out percentages in baseball to one of the best. And some of that has to do with him throwing a little bit better, but most of it had to do with just pitchers actually looking at runners. It's frustrating, especially in a low scoring game like that. That could have literally made the difference. In a game where you only score 2 runs, that run does not score if Yordan Alvarez doesn't steal. They have to do a little bit better job of holding runners. They're really good pitchers. I'd like to see more attention paid, and I think that's more of an organizational thing than an individual thing. I hope that makes sense. You know what always makes sense? Buying stuff from Simply Seattle. Simply Seattle has the very best in Seattle sports gear. Great stuff for the Mariners, of course, but also the Kraken, the Seahawks, the Storm, the Supersonics. You can find it all at Simply Seattle. And once you find everything you're looking for, use code MOLLYWOP15 to save 15% off your order. MOLLYWHOP15. It's an awesome deal from great people. There's a link in the description to make it nice and easy. Thank you so much, Simply Seattle. So outside of that whole runner snafu, George Kirby was excellent tonight. He scatters the 6 hits, but he gets the 8 strikeouts. He throws 63 of 94 pitches for strikes. And what I really liked about this start was he didn't nibble, but he attacked the corners. And not just the corners in terms of the inside part of the plate or the outside part of the plate. I mean, he attacked the edges more than anything else. He was changing hitters' eyes locations. He was going up top, but he was also going down low. And he dotted it. He absolutely dotted it. And I was nice to see him expand the zone a little bit. And he got some calls. And that's not surprising to me. Number one, umpires aren't very good. And number two, he has earned the respect that you're going to believe George Kirby. Umpires are going to believe that what George Kirby threw is a strike, if it's borderline or even close to borderline. But the stuff was good. He threw one splitter to Alex Bregman. That's one of the best secondary pitches I've ever seen him throw. Absolutely filthy in a big situation because it was first and third with the game tied at 1-1 with 1 out, and he gets that big strikeout. This was nice to see in particular, considering he was great against Kansas City, but 3 of the 4 last starts haven't been good enough, in part because of expectation and in part because 6 innings of 5-run baseball, which is basically what he's been averaging as of late, it's not good enough. It's not good enough for your ace. It's not good enough for your 5th starter. You've got to be better. And George Kirby was much better tonight. The bullpen was sensational. We have let our concerns known on this channel that we have some concerns about how this bullpen's going to hold up. If they pitch like they did tonight, we're going to look stupid, or I'm going to look stupid. Let's stop saying we. I'm going to look stupid. Because Trent Thornton was spectacular. Bottom of the lineup, sure. But that slider was sliding. He was great. Gabe Spire, after giving up the hit, I thought this was kind of an interesting decision to let Spire pitch to Altuve. I may have just let Thornton face Altuve, but it probably shows the confidence that he has in Spire. And also, Thornton did throw 19 pitches, so you got to keep him fresh. Right now, he's one of your most important relievers. But he does the job. Austin Voth gets the big strikeout to end the inning. Andres Munoz, he's just phenomenal. Just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, outside of that color, we've talked about it. We all know how flipping good this guy is. He's awesome. Andres Munoz, please stay a Mariner for a very long time. And then Mike Baumann comes in, only needs 5 pitches, comes in with a runner on second base and gets the job done. Takes advantage of the aggressiveness of Houston. And teams are going to be aggressive against Baumann because you don't want to get to his slider and his curveball. Those are elite pitches according to expected batting average and strikeout rate. The Mariners are going to work with Baumann and teach him to be a guy who can work ahead with those pitches. May take a little while, but his fastball's been hit and hit hard. So you're going to be aggressive with him. Didn't work today. Excellent job by Baumann, and congratulations to him on his first win as a Seattle Mariner. Positives on the offensive side, Canzone clobbered that baseball. You see why the Mariners are infatuated with his power. It's so good. Like, it might be the best raw power on the Seattle Mariners. Julio would probably have something to say about that. Mitch Garver, when he's at his best, big dumper, but pure power from just a left-handed hitter, no question about it. It's Canzone, and he competes with anybody. Applying that power, we'll see. We'll see. But there's no denying that this guy can mollywop baseballs. No denying. Good for Crawford for getting that run home. But the real credit there goes to number one, the zombie runner. Great decision to pinch run Class A for Haniger. I know it was one of the more obvious decisions, but absolutely the right call there. And Canzone, if you're going to get an out, make it a productive one. And he rounds to the right side and he's able to move that runner to third base. And then Cal Raleigh, who in his first at bat after coming in for Garver, we talked about Garver being the catcher, right? And I thought Garver looked fine there, just in case I didn't say anything. But Cal Raleigh lays off some pitches and draws a walk, and Luke Raley does the same thing to load the bases, and then JP Crawford hits a ball more than deep enough. Jonathan Clase can score on balls 40 feet in from that. He's just really, really, really fast. And you get the win, and you've taken 3 of the first 4. I did want to mention, too, that in the 9th inning, Julio laced a single off of Josh Hader and then showed off his speed to get to third base. Unfortunately, France and Ryan Bliss, who pinch hits for Ty France, don't get the job done. It's a little disappointing there. I did think Bliss had a good at bat and laid off some good pitches. Josh Hader's going to beat a lot of guys. And I did see some people in my mentions wondering why you pinch hit Bliss there. I wouldn't have hated Josh Rojas just staying in and hoping that he can hit a meek little ground ball. But Josh Rojas has been awful against left-handed pitching. Just awful throughout his career. I get it. Bliss doesn't get the job done, but I don't hate the process there. I've hated a lot of process stuff from Scott Service. Didn't really hate this one. I actually disliked the decision to not have Thornton pitch to Altuve more than I disliked the decision to have Bliss hit for Rojas. Having said that, Mariners have to improve this bench to have better guys in this situation. Ideally, it'd be nice to have a Dylan Moore type, although, boy, Moore was bad today. But anyway, it was nice to see Julio lace that single and then show off his speed. 14 stolen bases now for Julio. Good win. And ugly win at times, but you'll take it. And you are now 7 wins ahead of the Houston Astros. And we are at the 105 games left. It's not that small a sample. It's not that small of sample. To say the Mariners should win this division is the understatement of understatements of understatements. Now, can they? Yeah. Will they? Should they? Oh, my goodness gracious, yes. Yeah, they absolutely should. All right. So like I said, we are trying to get to 1,500 subscribers. We have 2 more days to do it. We have the 30th and we have the 31st. We actually have a lot longer than that, but my goal was to get to 1,500 by the end of May. And we're getting close. We're getting real close. So I'm being greedy and trying to buy your way into it. And by that, I mean, I'm going to give somebody this Randy Johnson autograph card. I'm so sorry for the glare, but it's a 9 out of 10 from Topps Diamond Icons, which is I think right around a $3,000 box. You get 10 cards in that $3,000 box. Obviously, I have not bought any Diamond Icons boxes, but I was fortunate enough to win this card. And I'm going to give it to one of you. And how you can win that card is hit like, hit subscribe, and then tell me your least favorite ever Seattle Mariners starting pitcher. Can be anybody from any time. Like, subscribe, write that comment. When we get to 1,500, somebody who hits like, hits subscribe, and writes out that comment, I will random it off and I will send them that card. It's a pretty good deal. Yeah, do it. Tomorrow, the Seattle Mariners go for the sweep, and I want that sweep so bad. I'm going to go look for my broom before I go to bed, which also tells you how little cleaning I do. And to say the pitching matchup favors the Mariners, yeah. Logan Gilbert against Spencer Arrighetti, who Arrighetti has a chance to be a decent one in the long term. This is a guy the Mariners should hit, and Logan Gilbert should be able to shove against this lineup. By the way, I did predict Kirby would shove today, and he did. So, yeah, good win. I want this sweep. I want this sweep. I also think this would be their first chance to win 5 straight, or it would be their first 5-game winning streak. I could be wrong there. I'm wrong all the time. Good win. Good win. Proud of you, my son.